Hello everybody and welcome to another video. I'm Alex Antuna and I'm gonna do today pretty much a simple rock. We're gonna start with a rock. Let's get rid of this. We don't need anything there. We're gonna go to Z sphere. Let's drag this out and press edit. We're gonna push Control N to get rid of this accidental click I made. And then let me get my references up so I can show actually what I've got. So I've got a few rocks here, for example. What I like about rocks are, good little practice. You can get something going. And what I like is that you can also use like alpha brushes and stuff like that. But let's just get a little basic. We'll go simple. We'll just cut this one up and see what we can do with it. Move this out the way. I'm going to use, let me get my set on my pen, and let's go ahead and Control Shift. We're going to go in here, clip curve. Let's go ahead and do this. So what's tricky is that, okay, let's make this a polymesh 3D. This should work again. Is that this is my second time doing the rock. I didn't save, and I was kind of like, come on. So we're just going to cut. I'm going to make it pretty generic. We're going to hit Alt, just drag. We're going to go in here, drag. Just get rid of some of these edges. Oh, wrong way. Just dragging here, dragging there. Just trying to get this final bit of the year. Just do one more little video. And we'll go ahead and clip some of these edges. And what I'll do is probably show you from start to I'll take it into Marmoset Toolbag and give it some texture so we can finish out a lot of the details there. Other than that, this is gonna be very straightforward and to the point, quick and to the point. Just showing, getting your mesh. Don't really think about it. Well, you gotta think about it to a point, but we're gonna go ahead and add some geometry. Let's subdivide this a little bit. We could have gone and did a Dynamesh for anybody interested in that, but we're going to go ahead and slice it up some more. Get some harsher edges. And we'll just try to get a little something. Just kind of clean this up there. Just trying to make it not perfect, right? Thing with nature, anything created in nature, the more chaotic, right? Looks a little bit more. You could spend all day on a rock, I guess, if you really want to, just trying to get a look. But we're just gonna do a little example. Try to show something for today, for the end of the year. And go here. So I hope everybody had a good year. It's a weird year. It's an odd year. Every year's been that way, seems, since like COVID and stuff. It's whatever. Just roll with it. Roll with the punches. What you got to do. And just keep going forward, right? All right. So we got kind of a basic shape, and all it was just using the clip tool off a mesh, and we still got subdivision, right? But what we're going to need to do, we're going to project some details back down to another mesh. So we're going to duplicate. And I do this process often. We solo it out, and we can Z remesh this. We're going to go to half. You can do this, or you can do half. I'll go half so we can actually see what's happening here. It'll remove all the lower subdivisions and everything else, and this kind of helps with any edits and other stuff. One of the favorite brushes to use when doing like rocks, you can do stylized rocks, the orb brushes. If you look those up, you'll find them, Zbrush orb brushes, and get those brushes. A lot of the rock process goes a lot smoother having those brushes, and you can get like a stylized look too from it. That's what I like. We're gonna keep remeshing down till it gets pretty low. Something workable, right? See what we can get. Yeah, it seems fairly decent. Turn off solo. Go into project all. And we go solo again. You can see what it looks like. We can subdivide. So I'm going to hold shift, click this. Doing that allows you to open both windows without it collapsing the other one. We're going to divide, project, and we'll do it one more time. Divide and project. And now if we go to here, we can go up, down. See? Can't tell any difference. Delete the old one because we don't need it. It's just kind of there for reference, and we can start adding more detail. I'll probably add more subdivision. We'll divide it a couple times. And what I like with having subdivision is that you can actually go down and smooth out something, and it's a lot easier than doing a high subdivision. So it's more or less helping in that area. Let's save. Let's do a quick save because I tried to do a model earlier to show like same thing, and it crashed. It wasn't fun because I lost a lot, so I just started over. The ore brushes. This is what we got. This is one of my favorite ones because it's like trim dynamic, but not. So if you go in, look at that, real good. Good for getting those edges kind of crisp. Get that randomized stuff. It's good for breaking up edges too. See that? It's pretty good. We'll go in here. Just start giving us some character, right? Make it look a little more chaotic, and you can start to see where this goes. If I were to bring in the references, you'll start to see. No. Let me bring that back. Here we go. And what you can do is pin it, or you can do the hotkey. So I'll put always on top. It's like, don't go, don't leave me. All right, so we're gonna do this and go here. Yeah, I wanted a quick, short, sweet video just to kind of end out this year. Didn't want to go without posting, but a little time today before getting out for the New Year's Eve. Gonna hit up the comedy club tonight. Harlan Williams is gonna be in town, or Dallas, so we'll go check his comedy out. Love his podcast and everything. It's pretty cool. Well, he makes you laugh. He makes me laugh. Dude's funny shit. Makes me laugh. That's what matters, right? Keep the joy in your life. So I'm gonna get out that way tonight. But anyway, I wanted to do a video before then. See if I can squeeze one in. I'm trying to work this quick. Trying to see what we can get. It's not gonna be anything pretty. It's not gonna be anything perfect. That's too perfect right there. Let's break that. Ooh, didn't want that. It curved. Now it's gonna act weird. I don't want that. Let's undo. If it'll let me. I should have. Hopefully it doesn't crash. I did do a quick save, so that's good. No, that's not what I wanted. So here and there, just to kind of break it up, because if we put it in the ground, we can actually use all sides. And so if we use this, work smarter, not harder. You know, at least every side is usable, and we're not going to have to worry about creating a new rock. So if we use one side of it, like right here, and then flip it around right there, flip it on its side, it could almost work on it anyway. And so we use one rock to utilize more than one function, right? If it's going to be in the ground, you can get away with sticking it in the ground and not worrying too much about wherever. So let's get some details in here so it's not so boring. Let's move this out the way. So I like the crumple brush. We'll go here, crumple. Crumple sometimes works. It depends on what you're going for. Let's see if it'll let me just squeeze this down. Let me see if it'll crumple. Just a little bit right there. Let's just kind of tighten this up. So if you just kind of go in circles, sometimes it does a little bit one direction. Just kind of give a little bit. See that? Sometimes it does okay. Sometimes the stretching right here where the geometry is doesn't work so well. So it's just kind of like hit and miss. Like right there, miss. Right, big flat surface is not so bad. Just use it to kind of break up some of this geometry right there. See that? So that's default. That's default inside of ZBrush. We can drop down the subdivisions and kind of tame it a little bit. So we got a little bit of that variation. The other thing you can do is use alpha mask, and that'll speed up the process. Unless you just really got the time and you want to start like chiseling out like one by one, sure, go for it. A lot of times you'll be on a deadline, so if you're doing stuff like this, I like this, the orb rock detail one. You can just drag this one up and it gets a little bit more. Put it up to 30, so you see that kind of saves you a little bit of time. We can invert it, so now you got a little bit of that variation depending on your scale. Just kind of put it in here. So it's kind of like just decorating real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Just invert. And once you got like something to work with, the other thing is pretty cool to do is go up here and you can repeat last. So if I do drag something and I'm like, man, I want that a little bit more, repeat, and it'll push it back in there. Doesn't always work as good, but sometimes it works out. Okay, so there you go, little something. We're gonna go back. Let's grab this brush. I like. It's another brush I enjoy using. Is, where's my mallet brush? Where you at, mallet? We can go in here, grab this, quick save, because now I'm thinking that it's gonna crash again, but it might never crash after that first one. But the mallet does pretty cool. It's a little bit of that rough. You can kind of see where it's going with that. You can peel back real good. It gives that jagged edge. Real smooth. A little more brute force brush, but it works out if you're trying to get some edges to it. Let's see. There's another brush. Let's go to let me get in there real quick. That I like using. Let me see if I can find it. And even here, you just kind of vary it up. You can change your settings, see if this helps. A little softer. See. Nah, it took away too much from there. It's okay to undo. And just keep it organic, flowing, and everything. Just going with it. The orb brush does have like weird things that little dimples, so you can just kind of pull them back out so they're gone if you don't want them. It doesn't matter sometimes if you're gonna put texture. You won't always notice it, but sometimes you'll see it and you'll be like, ah. So you know. So that's one method if you look at it. So we're looking at it and change the material. Get some variation. Some of these creases or the flattening help kind of balance out to help read the rock too. I feel like. And if you're gonna go low poly too, and then textures on top of that, just kind of like mix and match with this. Going from there to there. And just break up some of these surfaces right there. Let me find that other brush that I was mentioning. Where are we at? Where are we at? We'll go here. Trim. And there's a lot of different ones in here you can go through. I forget if it's the normal. I'll check it out. Let's see what it does. This one kind of does okay, but it's a little bit heavy for me. But it's good for some other stuff. Maybe it's this one. This one's not too bad. It kind of reminds me of the orb one too, but it just gives a little bit of a, see that kind of helps to kind of give that, what do you call it, the stair stepping in the rock. It helps a little bit, so you kind of get a little bit of that. Not too much there. Just playing around with the brush to see what you can get. And we're gonna probably get to the next step. Where we at? 16 minutes. What do you think? 16 minutes. Just getting some rocks in. Make it bigger. Kind of just vary it up. Oop, there we go. A little bit of that. Just kind of. I don't know what I just clicked, but we're just gonna kind of breaking these surfaces real quick. Going around. There you go. Maybe that helped. And this and same brush. Look at that. So you can kind of see that it a little more harder crease there. And the other thing is we're gonna add texture. So, all right. Save. All right. The next step, going from here. Oh, and another thing, if you want to actually increase these details, here, let me pat this down a little bit. All right, just a little bit, not too much. I think I went too far right there. No, right there and there. Okay, so if you want to pop some of this detail, you can go down here, and this is where it crashed on me earlier. Be careful with it though. You can use this contrast. Let me drop it down just that way it's not heavy. Maybe there, and then I'll up the contrast just slightly. You see it? Just enough to pop more detail. You can go up in your poly count, go back up, see what it did. So you can get a little bit more, squeeze a little bit more juice out of it. Let's do a quick render to see what it looks like. Properties, turn on ambient occlusion, go to your shadow, add some rays, add an angle to soften it, and let's go. So it's pretty generic, straightforward. It's nothing crazy. It's not a crazy detailed rock. We could probably trim a little bit more here and there, kind of give a little bit more variation. And even right here, while we kind of got some of this going, we can do the crumple, and we can crumple little areas like that. See, you can kind of get a little bit more like areas like that. So just kind of vary it up. That helps a little bit. And then you get that kind of like how rocks have those lines. If I were to pull the reference back up, you'll see in one of these, they all have like that kind of different things. I'm just trying to pull it in, but you'll see. It's good to have references too. This one doesn't have the, like I was talking about, the banding. A lot of the bigger details you can see. Some. This one, it looks like it slashed right through it. It's pretty cool. But I'm going to break it up some more. You can soften it back down if you want. The bigger variations give you a little bit more. And it's just right, the randomness right there. It's a little more like skin, but it's all good. And if you really want, we can go back and add one more little bit of rock, maybe right here, just to kind of vary it. There you go. What do you think? Oops. Okay. So, what's next? Where do we go next? We can take out those dimples real quick because they're gonna. There we go. Ooh. It's always good to kind of go back over your mesh. Look, see this right here? This is from the high to low when I did the detail. So it did not like that that crease or the down here. Be careful with that contrast. It'll do this. So you gotta balance it and kind of go polish it back off. It's not so bad. Just real quick. Boom, boom, boom. This is just for example anyway. We're not get too crazy with it. Just real quick. Yeah, think like time's going. You gotta get it done by 5 or whatever. So you're just trying to get something modeled for whatever reason. I don't know. Hopefully deadlines aren't that short for you, but if you had to go faster, it's just quick and dirty. Yeah, you can download it off the internet too. You'd be like, why don't you just download it off TurboSquid? Yeah, but every now and then there's like, we need a rock in this shape, in this area, in this spot. So that's whenever that downloading doesn't work. You're like, oh, it's got to be like this. So there are times. It's always good to have it in your arsenal, right? So there we go. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, we're about to call this one. It's polishing off little spots. Boom, boom, boom. All right, where we at? 22 minutes. We can spend just a little bit more time on this. This is the fun part. I like kind of like shaping the rocks and getting in there. This is not a hard rock to do. It shouldn't be. It should be more fun. I like doing rocks at times. Some of them are not fun, but I guess it depends on the rock, doesn't it? Some of them are a little more like this. Doesn't look like a rock at all. So here we go. What you think? Are you following along? Are you learning? Are you beginning? Are you, you know, where are you at on your journey? I don't know. But hopefully some of this is informative. Hopefully it helps. But you're probably wondering, like, what's the next step? But how do I get it into my whatever 3D program or game engine or whatever you're using? Yeah, because this is not gonna work if you look at it. What are we gonna do with that? It's heavy geometry. See how many polys it is. Quick save. Let me see. Subtool. Go here. How many numbers is that? Almost not a million, but still need to optimize it. So which way should I go? There are a couple ways we can do this. We can export it out to Blender. We can kind of do it by hand, and that seems to be the best result. If you're in a hurry, you can use Zbrush to do a lot of that lifting, but it depends because you're gonna still need to unwrap it. The unwrap isn't perfect in here. I use it on a crunch. It doesn't always come out. It's a hit and miss kind of thing, if you're to ask me. So here we go. I'm just trying to get a little few spots. You're not gonna notice it when you're this far, like that far. Let's see, where's the front? Where's his face? And then watch, and you're like this and put it in perspective. I'm going like that, and we're gonna render. You're not gonna really notice much. All these little things. Let's see here. Some of those details. A lot of it's gonna be pushed from the texture. You know, I always like the more exaggerated sometimes. Like even if you were gonna skew it like this, maybe that helps. Like, don't be afraid to push and pull it, and just kind of. Now you got a longer rock. If you want that, that's fine. Usually keeping it about like kind of like square helps you. Afterwards you can adjust as needed, and now you got more variations, right? So just don't push it too far, because that direction didn't work too well. So this bottom side of the rock looks pretty decent. So let's go with that. Let's go with that. Optimizing. Let's save. Quick save. Let's duplicate this mesh. So now we have two. We'll just rename this low. We can decimate it, and it should keep as much detail as possible. We can also Z-remesh it, as we did before. Two methods. Both work. It just depends on what you want. Z-remesher will get close, but we'll just go this route. We'll go this route. Close this brush, drag this down. Decimation master. So we're going to go in here. We're going to decimate. We're going to process the current. What it's going to do is do its little analysis. And we'll let it process. Let me go ahead and stop it right now, and then I'll come back. The video. Okay, it should be processed. Let me see if this worked. We go to decimate. Current, and now we can start to see if this is what we want. We're going to put it to 1. Decimate. Okay. We'll put it to 0.5. See where we can get it. Let's start getting as low as we can get it. So this isn't bad. It's gonna be triangulated. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to unwrap if you're gonna try to make it perfect to fit. The good thing is that you can use the unwrapper in here. It's okay. In a crunch you can use it, but let's see what we can get away with. That won't work. So this is one way to do it. So you can do this, and you can go look at the old, the new, the old, the new, and then just set the bait down these details and stuff like that. Do we want to do that? Let's see. How many polygons do we have? 12. So if you're going to scatter this throughout a scene, maybe, maybe not. Let's look at a different method. Let's do this. So I'm going to show you both ways we can do it. We can actually just... I'm looking at it in my mind. We can retopologize this by hand and probably get fewer polygons, a more decent mesh in the end, because it's going to be baked high to low, and you'll probably be happier for it. Just thinking, because you'll be able to unwrap it a lot easier. Right? I'm still editing, I know. Delete. Okay. So what do you say? We're going to go to Blender. Show you the quick Blender method. We'll export this out. I'm going to export it as a FBX, and we'll just kind of go from there. And, we'll export that from there to Toolbag. You're probably going to ask, like, well, that's a lot of programs to go in and out of. Yeah, it is, but it's a lot quicker in the end than trying to do it by whatever you're trying to do in a different program or in the same program. You're gonna, if you want a little bit more detail, it's worth it. It's worth it to go from either here to substance or whatever. You know, you'll find that you'll get a lot better results. So, all right, let's export this out, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to do a retopologizing in Blender, just kind of give an idea. So let me save, export it out. Let's go ahead and export this out. Let's do this. We're going to go. If you're curious what I'm doing, go in here. Go to selected. If you got more than one object, export. That's it. Usually I'll change this, but export. I'm going to save it out to a folder, and I'm going to see in Blender next. All right. Okay, now we're in Blender. I'm going to import that model. Import FBX. Go into my model in the folder where I saved it. The scale needs to be 100. Leave. Import. As long as it fits within this cube, it should be fine. Not tiny, you know. This is just a kind of a base measurement. We're not going to scale for anything. It's just trying to get the model. It's a rock. You know, rocks can be any size, so as long as it's the same size as this cube, it doesn't matter for me personally. You can do how like you want, you know, it's your model, but this is personally for me. If it fits inside the cube, we're good. So here we go, and it fit just right. So we're gonna remove this. So we got rid of that. And so you're like, now what? What are we doing in here? You know, we're gonna retopologize it a little bit more by hand. And this is just another option. You could have done it with ZBrush and press the button and everything else, but this is gonna be like something to kind of keep it a little bit more efficient in my mind. So we're gonna use Speed Retopo, and if you need a website, let me pull up a website for you. Blender Market. Let me see if it's in here. Speed Retopo. Let's see if it pulls up right away. It should be this one right here. So personal, not bad. $10. You can do for studios, stuff like that. But I like this plugin. There are other ones out there. Use whatever you want, but I like this one. This one works for me. This is what I use. So we're gonna go into here. We're gonna select the mesh. You can decimate in here. For me personally, I'm just gonna go with it. We're just gonna go down the list. We're gonna select it. We're gonna start the retopology. And then ask you what kind you want. You can see your settings and stuff. You want it to be a face, a vertex, whatever you want. So I'm just gonna go with whatever that is, the default. So it should generate something for me. The mirror is turned on. I don't need the mirror because we're gonna kind of go without that. We're just gonna build on top of this. What I like is that you can just grab and drag. We're just gonna follow a few contours and we're gonna go from there. We're not gonna make anything crazy complicated. We're just gonna extrude and stuff like that. I like this because it sets your settings up here for your snaps and everything. You can do this by hand, get it going if you really want to, but there's a few tools in here that I like, but most of them pretty straightforward. Using the forget what it's called, the F function, or maybe it's just called F. Let's see, F2. There's a whole thing on there, so that's usually what helps. So some people might not like topology. Yeah, it took me a while. You can press F and it drags it out. You can get it pretty close right here. Whatever, I don't know. Just trying to get it done quick, right? We're just trying to get the big forms. can subdivide here, or I can extrude out here. Just extrude it out. Bring that back. It's kind of like a puzzle. Just go with that. With this, what I like is that you can actually go to annotate, draw a line, right? And then I can select my object, add B surface, boom, center. Little tools. You can also use spacing, space it out if you really need to. There's little things here and there. It's got to relax, stuff that you don't have to find. It's in here. I just rather it be one spot. Right. So let's save. Don't forget to save. And we're just gonna do the bigger contours of the rock, so that we're just trying to get it done. And this is just rinse and repeat now. Just kind of going. We're just trying to find bigger spaces, right? Go here. Click that. Press F. Connects. Boom. See that? I used to try to do topologizing in 3D Max, and it wasn't as fun and friendly. At least here I've got a pretty decent plugin. You could probably find a same thing, but this is where I ended up. I ended up finding I don't know, more enjoyment using Blender. You can double tap G and slide this without the. I love that it does that. Little things here and there. But we're just trying to get a quick something. So we can check our poly count statistics. So if we were to look at this mesh, you know, it's still 39. That's way better than 12, right? That's what it was in Zbrush. I'm just gonna, as long as we loosely get most of the geometry in a cage for this, it should be fine. I think I was doing a little too picky from the start, but it's whatever. It's whatever, doesn't matter. I'm just gonna start we can spread this out. Let's do that. Let's spread this a little bit more. Spread it here, there. Even this can be over. Doesn't matter. It does help with the baking. Sometimes I have stuff a little bit more separate. So I can just use that for this one. As long as it's not poking out of the mesh, it should be fine. So like if I were to go to the angle, it shouldn't be too bad. We're gonna do a cage, so we're just trying to get a quick look. It'll poke out a little bit, it'll be fine. This is just a quick test. Not even a test, it's just an example. I've done mini rocks for projects and stuff, so just different methods. This one's just in a little bit more faster pace, just to kind of show you an example of like, hey, this is where you can be getting details and getting something decent halfway there. You just kind of see it where it's going, the mesh. If you need to subdivide it, go in there. I could subdivide down the middle right there, or we can play a little bit more let's extrude it. So we can do this and then go there. So you see, and then you got like a little loop right there. Let's go here. This one actually, let's see, that one. Trying to think how I can do this one. If we really want to, it doesn't hurt. It's not going to hurt anything. It's just going to mess with the edge flow, but there. That one triangle ain't going to kill anything, right? It's just a triangle. So. And then like right here, we can do that again, annotate, so draw a line, select the mesh, and then surface, and then weld. And so I've gotten a little bit more comfortable doing this process. And if you follow some of the contours here, it helps. You could probably put another spot right here since it dips. It's got a little bit more edge flow. See? So what I'm going to do is speed up this process, and then we'll come back. You're not going to miss much. All I'm doing is just this, just back and forth, making little parts, and then when we come back, I'll have a mesh, and then we'll go to the next stage of unwrapping it, so that I know this isn't the most exciting part, but when it works, it's pretty fun. It's like, hey, that worked. Hey, that worked. So another triangle. It doesn't hurt for me. Sometimes, so I could dissolve it, or dissolve the edge. See if it's still there. Nah, I didn't do it. I was gonna say if I could get a vase there, but it might do some weird stuff. Okay, it's all good. So let me knock this out real quick, and then we'll come back, and then I'll show you the next step where we're gonna just get some UVs made.